This is my story, how I went from $0 to $500,000 in just a few months building the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle empire. I started my business by building with basically nothing, no industry connections, and was able to grow rapidly. I've always been entrepreneurial, and growing up, I experimented with a lot of different ways to make money, and starting when I was 11, I started turning towards the internet to do that. While in real life, age is a big barrier for a lot of opportunities to make money, the internet was an open playing field. I could really get started at any age, and no one even had to know how old I was when communicating online. This led to a lot of different ventures going up. I started originally with a music blog and started a lot of different opportunities like freelancing, and eventually got into CPA marketing during high school, where I ended up making a decent amount of cash. But the most important thing wasn't all the cash that I was making, that I was getting a ton of experience making money online and experimenting and learning about the way that things worked. And starting so early and young got me so far ahead when later down the line, I already understood the principles and the way things worked. Fast forward to the future, I was going to college at the University of Southern California as a freshman in 2020 when the outbreak hit, and I got sent home. And sitting at home, I started to get motivated to do something, to start a business. And I started to look for opportunities that I could provide that were related to the current time, and thus could provide me a new into the market and catch a trend on the way up. And the first thing that caught my eye there was toilet paper. As many of you know, in March 2020, toilet paper was completely sold out everywhere. But something not too many people know is there's actually two different supply chains for toilet paper. One for homes and residential, like Charmin, Angel Soft, and all the good ones. And one for commercial, like public restrooms and shop restrooms, which is actually a completely different type of toilet paper and supply chain. So while residential paper was sold out, there was so much excess commercial, and shops and restaurants were shuttered everywhere. So my idea was to connect this excess supply of toilet paper in the commercial space and market it to residential to help fill the shortage. And I got it all built and got it set, but Shopify actually quickly shut me down, basically with no notice, and said that my product was a sensitive item that they would not allow to be sold. From this point, I had to go back to the drawing board and start over from scratch. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying. But I quickly noticed another trend. I saw several articles with everyone stuck at home, jigsaw puzzle sales were on the rise, and the regular puzzle retailers were all going out of stock. I knew I had an amazing idea in my hand here, but I needed to figure out how I could get these puzzles manufactured, especially with all the current supply chain issues and delays. The US supply chain was basically shuttered. There were no factories that could produce items like this due to work restrictions and a whole host of other issues. And I didn't want to drop ship because drop shipping was resulting in customers waiting over 30 days for their product. So I ended up hiring an agent in China, and I rented a warehouse in the most strategic spot and placed my first order for $7,000 worth of puzzles. Meanwhile, I had my agent working around the clock to get items packed and identify the best shipping routes. For the puzzle designs, I started out with a lot of classic landscapes, public domain paintings, and some puzzles that my factory already had the rights to. I got more experimental over time, but gosh, I think if only Midjourney was around back then. On my end here, I built some of the branding and the website and the designs and launched it. And I started out running Google ads, the reason being that people were already searching for puzzles. They just needed someone to come in there and fill that demand. And so I was able to use Google Mans to just get in front of those people that were searching. And from the beginning, these ads converted so well. So I scaled higher and higher. My first day, I did $1,200 in sales. And in my first week, over $10,000. And I almost immediately had to place another order for my factory. My average delivery time to get a puzzle to a customer was about 9 days. Not amazing, but given the pandemic and what a lot of other sellers were getting, not too bad. And this was the same time period where Amazon wasn't even guaranteeing a 14-day delivery. So I consider this a pretty great achievement. And I pretty quickly scaled that original $1,200 that I made in that first day up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in sales a day. And so before starting this business, I had some capital saved up to get running on this from previous ventures, but with how fast things were scaling, I was running out fast. Although sales were coming in very fast, I was having to place bigger and bigger orders with my manufacturer to make up for the increased demand, and I was not getting paid out right away. Depending on the processors, some customer payments I wouldn't get for up to a week after they placed the order for me, meaning my cash was getting low. And I didn't want to stop scaling because every dollar that I didn't scale was sales I was losing. So I ended up taking out a loan based on the business's success, and I reinvested this into the ads, into buying more product, and to keep it growing. I'd started off with 10 puzzles that I was selling, but I eventually expanded into 18 and added some accessories for upsells like puzzle mats and puzzle glue. And within another week, I hit my first $10,000 sale day, a massive achievement. And then Shopify shut down my store. No notice, no email, no message. Shopify shut down my dashboard to manage my orders, my website, everything. I had no way to fulfill orders, no way to email customers to let them know what was going on, and customers were just directed to a page that looked like this. I felt doomed. I had leveraged every little bit of cash I had into this business, had taken on debt, and was sure that customers were going to come charging everything back with no way to get in touch with them. I contacted Shopify right away, but the agent was no help and could only open a case for me. But she said I'd hear back within 72 hours or 3 days. So I called and and I emailed and messaged for 3 days straight, each day waking up hoping that I had a message back for them and being disappointed day after day. And after 3 days, that guaranteed period within 72 hours I would hear back, I heard nothing. I didn't even have a reason from Shopify as to why I was deactivated. I could see in my payment processor dashboard that one by one, customers were charging back for puzzles that I had already shipped. And I don't blame them. My website posted a message that said the site's been taken down. There was no way to get in touch with me, but my world was crashing in. So I gave Shopify one last ring and I said, if you guys do not give me my store back and explain what is going on, I'm getting a lawyer involved immediately. And those were the magic words. The guy gave me my account back, access, and everything. And the only reason I could get for why they shut me down was your site grew too fast and we had to do a verification process. So I'd lost out on probably 3 $10,000 sale days, gotten quite a few chargebacks, and lost the trust of many customers because they decided to do a verification process of taking down my store with no notice or no information. But at the very least, at least I had my account back and I started to pick back up where I left off. I turned back on the ads, ordered more puzzles, and emailed and worked with customers to withdraw their chargebacks and contest the ones we could. And it worked the best that it could. For the next 2 months, we continued to sell incredible numbers of puzzles. Most days over $10,000 worth. And our top day, we hit almost $14,000 of sales. I continued to tweak and improve the business, but I started to get worried for around the corner. I knew it was just a matter of time until the major puzzle players get restocked and back in the game. I knew I'd built something big up, but I didn't know if I was well equipped to go against the big players. So I started to prepare to sell my company. I figured this would give me the best opportunity to get the most out of this and move on to something bigger down the line. And so I looked for a buyer, I got financials in shape, and after about a month and a half of taking leads and searching, that July, I closed and officially sold the company. After 5 months, I had made $500,000, and for a large portion of that time, been the largest retailer for jigsaw puzzles in the US. That experience and capital ended up leading to a lot more success down the line, but the biggest takeaways I found are, number one, look for areas where people are already searching for help. It is so much easier to fill an existing demand than going through the extra steps of piquing interest that isn't already there. People really wanted puzzles, and I solved the issues logistics wise and was able to fill that gap. This works across industries too. Here on YouTube, you can see what people are already searching for and be the one to create that specific content. And the second thing is that money is simply an exchange of value. And if you aren't providing real value, your business won't last. If your business is built on bad products, bad service, or just a straight up scam, you might make some short-term gains, but in the long term, reputation catches up. I remember a key decision we made in the operation of the business. Due to the 2020 outbreak situation, we were constantly evaluating and looking to make tweaks to improve costs in margins and shipping times. What a lot of people outside the physical goods space might be surprised to hear is that when you buy a product from anywhere really, oftentimes the majority of the cost of the product is the cost of shipping the good, from the manufacturer to the retailer and then from the retailer to you. Shipping made up more than half the cost of the puzzles we sold, and one of the ideas that was tossed around was getting rid of the box that we sold the puzzles in and replacing it with a bag. This would have saved us over 25% on the cost of puzzles, mainly on the shipping end, and even have led to slightly quicker shipping times. But eventually we decided we just couldn't do it. It was too much of a value loss to the end consumer. It would have been an easy decision to get greedy there and just take the extra money, but we decided we could not do that to our customers and it wasn't worth the loss of value. That type of thinking I think really helped our success. And a third big one here is that every experience is a learning experience. I've had all sorts of ventures that haven't worked out, but because I started working on these things over 10 years ago, regardless of the success, I've been able to learn so much that I can keep putting back into my work with every single project and lead to even more success down the line. So wherever you are in your journey, never lose hope, go get after it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.